My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is my confession.
Forget recipes, cooking.
Actually, it's just basic chemistry.
Today I synthesize flavor. We're combining the cold calculation of Walter White,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
the standards of Gustavo Fring, and the heat of Don Eladio with a little tequila.
No, imposible.
And we'll throw in a pinch of chaos from Jesse Pinkman.
Yes, science.
Damn right, this isn't gonna be just food. This is gonna be
Chemically pure and stable product that performs as advertised. No adulterants, no baby formula.
Walter White understood cooking isn't intuition. It's a controlled chemical reaction where every degree matters. To hit 99.1% flavor purity, I'm building this burger exactly the way he would. But let's take it one step at a time.
Wanna cook?
I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of the Maillard reaction. If you haven't, I'll explain. It's an irreversible thermodynamic transformation. Simple, right?
Yeah.
At 285 degrees Fahrenheit, amino acids bond with sugars. On the surface of the patty, hundreds of new aromatic compounds are synthesized. Sodium chloride, or just salt, works here as a dehydrator. Water is the inhibitor. It pins the temperature down at the boiling point, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove the moisture, and you remove the barrier to an intense reaction. The cheese is simpler. We need to break down the casein matrix. At 150 degrees Fahrenheit, the protein bonds weaken, the lipids release. The solid phase turns into a stable emulsion. To lock the heavy, noble notes into the meat, you have to saturate the animal fat with phenols. We use smoke. Smoke is pyrolysis. Smoldering wood releases phenols, guaiacol and syringol. Phenols only bond with fat. They don't hold on a dry surface, so the patty has to be hot. The smoke is cold. It doesn't change the temperature of the product. It works as an aromatic fixative. 1 minute under that dome and it's done, baby.
Yes, science.
The final element, isomalt, is basically a sugar alcohol, but its altered molecular structure changes its thermodynamic properties. You see, unlike sucrose, it stays clear when heated and doesn't recrystallize. We get a stable, transparent glass.
This is pure glass.
For the blue tint, I use a heat-resistant pigment that keeps its structure as it melts at 290 degrees Fahrenheit.
What is this shit? This is blue.
We introduce the catalysts, lime, essential oils, and capsaicin. While the mass is still soft, they migrate into the structure of the isomalt. As it cools, the capsaicin and oils get locked inside the glass. Break the matrix and they release instantly. The moment they hit the hot fat of the patty, 99.1%.
Jesus, you got crystals in here 2 inches, 3 inches long.
Final stage, integrating the components. Sequence matters here. We're managing heat transfer, the base. Brioche. It's got egg, butter, and sugar. The fat keeps the crumb soft. The sugar gives a fast crust. The sugar caramelizes, and the cut surface turns water repellent. Sauce. Mayo, ketchup, chopped pickle, smoked paprika, dried onion, dried garlic, and a couple drops of Tabasco. There's a sweet crystal going on top, so the sauce is sour and mean. It kills the sweetness so the burger doesn't tip into being sickly. Lettuce and tomato are the thermal barrier. Moisture balance is the foundation of structure. On top, the patty and the onion. This is where the sugars caramelize. It's not Maillard, it's the thermal breakdown of carbs, creating a sweetness that offsets the aggressive chili capsaicin. And the final touch, an injection of lime and chili, sealed in isomalt.
Ah, tight, yeah. Ah, blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man, just keep bringing me that.
On the hot fat, the glass starts to melt, releasing the aroma.
Yes.
The crunch, acid, smoke, the sweet notes of the onion. This isn't a random pile of ingredients. It's a precise sequence of chemical reactions, building the perfect sensory response. Methodical, precise, clean. This isn't cooking, it's synthesis. 9 out of 10. If Walter White ran on brains and improvisation, Gustavo Fring's empire was built on something else. Time to see if we can reproduce his level. Welcome to Los Pollos Hermanos. Everything here is built on one thing. The standard, the same result every single time. ABQ hot chicken sandwich. Vince Gilligan, creator of the Breaking Bad universe, tried it and said Gus would approve. So there's no improvising here. It all starts with the base. I mix 3 cups of milk with lime juice, that's our buttermilk, then the spices. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. I drop the chicken into this marinade and leave it 12 hours in the fridge. In that time, the protein structure changes, and that's the foundation of juiciness. On to the dry mix, flour and cornstarch, the base for a crispy crust, and the spices, salt, black pepper, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and cayenne. Take the chicken out of the brine, moisture is the enemy, so we let the excess drip off. Double dredge, buttermilk, flour, buttermilk, flour. I press it with my palm. We don't want a smooth surface. We want ragged edges and dense clumps of flakes. Those are the critical points for building a crispy structure. 10 minutes of rest before frying. The breading has to stabilize, or it'll slide right off in the first seconds in the oil. The breast is thin, 5-6 minutes, no more, or it dries out. 165 degrees Fahrenheit inside. Assembly. The base, brioche, toasted in butter, grainy mustard, a double portion of chicken. On top, pickles, no binding sauces. This is the canonical Los Pollos recipe. A minimal set of ingredients. Well, you know, the crust is great. It crunches just right. You can even feel it under your fingers. All by the book. And by the way, the original recipe is served with fries. But, let's be honest, Gilligan can call this the gold standard. But the fact is, it's a dry sandwich. 2 breasts in a bun with just mustard. In the original, this thing came with a slaw Goodman salad, and that tied it all together. Without it, the sandwich is just naked. My score, 6.6 out of 10. It's the base everyone praises, but nobody actually enjoys eating. I spent some time running tests, and I found the fix. The secret that turns this diner-grade mediocrity into a benchmark product. I'll show it at the end. But for now, apron off. Time for something real. New Mexico. Everything here is simpler and more honest. The Green Chile Cheeseburger, the signature dish of the state and of Albuquerque itself. First, the pepper. I char it over open flame until the skin is black. The heat ruptures the cell walls. The water leaves a steam. The flavor concentrates and turns smoky. Into the foil. Inside, its own steam peels the skin off in a couple of minutes. I don't scrape it. It comes off on its own. Peel it, slice it, and in goes the onion too. Into the pan, one at a time, onion, then garlic, then the roasted chili, and last, the hot pepper.
No, chili pea's my signature.
The order isn't random. Garlic burns faster than onion, and the hot pepper is the most delicate of all. Each one at its own moment, so nothing turns bitter. Seven ounces of 80-20 ground beef. I work part of the sautéed mix right into the meat. Patty onto the screaming hot pan, 2 slices of American cheese, and now more chili. Even more, a mountain of it on top, so every millimeter of cheese drowns in pepper. Mix the sauce, mayo, mustard, ketchup, then finely chop pickles, dried onion, and garlic for a smoky note, smoked paprika, a little pepper, and a couple drops of Tabasco for heat. And now we built it. Toasted bottom bun, slather generously with sauce. On top, the patty drowning in cheese and pepper. Cap it with the top bun, which also got the sauce treatment. There it is. chemical formulas, no spectacle, just this incredibly tender flavor. Now I get why this is the pride of New Mexico. They don't just cook, they build the absolute benchmark of flavor. This isn't the best burger of the day, it's one of the best burgers of my life. Albuquerque, you are damn right. Score? 9.3 out of 10. This burger is the best possible lesson in how simple ingredients can work with no extra fuss at all. But I still owe Los Pollos a debt. I did promise to deal with their canonical chicken.
Ese pollo que cocinan, se lo juro por mi madre, que es el más sabroso en todo México.
Gustavo Fring came from Chile, but he built his empire here, in Albuquerque. His chicken is an attempt to fuse Chilean precision with Mexican scale.
Is the food to your satisfaction?
Very much.
Gus's standards are good, but with a little chemistry, I'm going to improve his recipe. Same base, a 12-hour brine, salt denatures the protein, the acid softens the fibers. And here's my correction. Tequila. And no, not for the flavor, that'll evaporate. Watch. Ethanol boils at 172 degrees Fahrenheit, water at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. In a screaming hot pan, it flashes to vapor instantly, and that keeps the oil from soaking into the breading. The result? A crust that comes out dry, and as crispy as it gets. And the tequila's not poisoned. I checked! Same dry mix. And then, the familiar route. Flour, buttermilk, flour again. That sizzle is moisture leaving, building a barrier against the oil.
Y no sabe nada al pollo mexicano, ¿no? Nosotros los mexicanos nos gusta con una buena patada, bien picoso.
Don Eladio's right. The tequila gave us that crispy, glassy crust. But by cartel standards, it's still not enough.
Zafiro añejo.
It's time for the salsa roja. I use the same pepper as the chili burger. Into the blender it goes, along with a red hot pepper, seeds and all. Then jalapeno from the marinade, garlic, cumin, Tabasco, sriracha, and lime. Salt goes in last. And now, the final fixing of the aroma. Sauce into a jar, smoke generator on top. For the meat, I used mesquite. For the sauce, I use oak. The phenols settle on the surface, soaking the whole thing in cold smoke. The result, a deep, smoky, spicy flavor. First, just the chicken. The tequila evaporated completely, got the driest, crispiest crust I've ever made. The meat's heated evenly, the juices are right where they should be. The salsa roja is a powerful thing, but I'm not the head of a Mexican cartel. For me, that level of heat is overkill. Let's leave the sauce for people with sturdier receptors.
Bueno, es una receta que aprendí en Chile, pero la modifiqué un poco para el gusto mexicano.
The chicken, though, perfect. Score 8.8 out of 10. And if chemistry and precise calculations aren't your thing, check out how I made the burgers from The Simpsons. Homer predicted perfect recipes and he barely finished school. Don't believe me? See for yourself.